The favourite won the Victoria Cup last night. He's had an outstanding season. The New Zealand champion, Chokin. Neil Donnelly has been a great supporter of this horse all the way through. In fact, Neil, I really enjoyed your article in The Age on Friday on Barry Purdon, who's the trainer of Chokin, and the great success he's had. And this horse has gone up a notch or two in the last 3 months.
I think he proved last night, Bruce, that he is a great horse. And this season, he's won more than $800,000 this season. Still with the Hunter Cup and the Inter-Dominion to come. He could be the first horse ever in this part of the world to win $1 million in a season. You'd have to think after watching him last night that he's virtually the ultimate racehorse. Great speed, fabulous stamina, and he's driven by one of the best drivers in the world and trained by one of the best trainers in the world. He's got everything going for him.
Neil, we're about to have a look at the race last night. What should the viewers be looking for?
I think they should be looking for Chokin early, drawn wide, dropping back, the speed on from Level Advice and the Unicorn, then Tony Hurley making a mid-race dash, got the front. That was the end of the race. He was just too fast, too strong, and dominated from there.
OK, let's have a look at Chokin dominating the Victoria Cup last night.
Green lights on. Racing, Ultrajet goes away quickly, showing early speed. Level Advice and also Hilarion Star. Gold Label and also Wiona Warrior are driving for on the inside. They're burning on that top end. Level Advice works to the lead. The outside, the Unicorn is trying to head him off, and they're going hard on the bend. Hilarion Star gets to third, 12 metres away, followed by Wiona Warrior. Then Gold Label, 4 metres to Christopher Vance. The outside, Ultrajet out 3 wide. 5 metres away, Chokin, biding his time early. 6 metres away, Blossom Lady, followed by Tigerish Sakara, and Golden Rain is last. Towards the 1800, Level Advice in front, peeling out now 3 wide as Ultrajet. He travels up into second placing. Chokin now trailing him on the outside. He peels out 3 wide now, turning out of a straight the first time. Tony Hurley on Chokin. He's out and running now at the lap and 3/4 mark. Level Advice in front. Chokin zooming around the outside. He's looking for the lead, and watch him get there at the 1600-metre corner. Chokin now races to the lead. 6 metres away, second is Level Advice. Here comes Sakara now, the Western Australian stallion. He's set a line out 3 wide. He draws up into second place and within 2.5 metres of Chokin. Level Advice on the rail is third. Ultrajet has the cover now fourth. A metre back 2 and 3 back on the rail, the Unicorn. 2.5 metres away, Hilarion Star. He's 3 back on the outside. Here's the mare now from the rear, Blossom Lady, on the top end towards the 1300-metre corner. She pulls to the outside now, followed by Gold Label. On the rail, Wiona Warrior. 4 metres away, Christopher Vance. He's third last on the outside of Golden Rain. And Tigerish is back of the tail. At the 1150 they race. Lead time in a 55.2. The quarter in a 30.4. In a healthy diatribe Victoria Cup for 1994. It's Chokin in front by a metre. The New Zealanders 1-2. Blossom Lady travelled up into second placing on the outside. She's almost joining Chokin with a round to go. Sakara third on the outside of Level Advice. Tigerish from last now pulls to the outside, trailed up by Christopher Vance. 3 back on the rail, the Unicorn. The outside is Ultrajet. He comes out now 3 wide, forcing Tigerish out 4 wide. Then Hilarion Star needing a run, followed by Wiona Warrior. Christopher Vance pulls to the extreme outside. Golden Rain second last, followed by Wiona Warrior. And Gold Label 6 metres away last, towards the 450. Second quarter in a 30.8. Chokin leading, held together. 2 metres away, Blossom Lady under pressure. Ultrajet being hard driven out 3 wide. Then Level Advice, Sakara. Hilarion Star needs daylight. Tigerish under pressure out 4 wide. In behind them came the Unicorn, followed by Christopher Vance, Golden Rain, then Wiona Warrior and Gold Label. Around the home turn in the Victoria Cup towards the 200 metres, third quarter 28.7, and Chokin exploded. He went bang and raced away at the 180. Blossom Lady into second placing, can't pick him up, followed by Level Advice, then Ultrajet, but for paces Australia, it's Chokin racing away with the Victoria Cup. He bolts in, Chokin 10 metres to Blossom Lady, 8 metres away, third Level Advice.
And the mile rate 157.2, not too far outside the record. I think it was 156.7, Master Musician. Rarely do you see a horse at that level win by so far.
We saw it last year when Master Musician beat Jack Morris, getting a cosy run, but not before then. It was, we've got to go back to Pro Chevalier in 84 and 85, and before that, Popular Arm 5 years earlier. It takes a dominant horse to do that against the very, very best, which is what we had there last night.
Neil, he's not flash Chokin to look at. He's one of those horses that you don't feel as if watching him that he's going all that quickly.
No, he's got a very ordinary-looking head, but they don't run with their head. They run with their legs and the motor inside. Yeah, he'll never win a prize for being the best-looking horse in a race, but he's got that very special quality of being fast without looking fast. Actually, I spoke with Tony Hurley last night after the race, and he said that he's now ranking amongst the very, very best that he's driven.
He's a great horse, Neil, and he showed it tonight. Like the Miracle Mile, he got a bit soft, perhaps, you know, but tonight he went within half a second of the track record and ran 155. He's a terrific horse.
Tony, you've driven some great horses, Luxury Liner, Christopher Vance and Co. Where does he rate this horse? Is he as good as you've driven?
I'd say he would be, Neil. He'd be as good as I've driven. Luxury Liner, I said he was a great staying horse. He probably didn't see the best of him in Australia because the tracks were probably a bit small for his style of racing, but Chokin, I think, for high speed and just being a great racehorse all around, he's probably the best.
It's a big rap, isn't it, from a man who I think you rate as the best driver in the world. Just talking about Jack Morris for a moment, because at his best, I felt that he was right up there with the very best we've had in a long, long time. Zakara and Hilarion Star have been beating him in Western Australia. I know this is ancient history of it because Jack Morris is not going to the Inter-Dominion. But Zakara was 8th last night and Hilarion Star was a huge flop in last placing. Doesn't say a lot for Jack Morris's recent form.
Well, there's obviously something wrong with Jack Morris, and there has been for months, and Sean Harney will still won't admit there's something wrong, but he's in the paddock for 6 months now. He was racing 50 yards below his best form when he went back to Perth for the West Australian Cup. When Zakara and Hilarion Star both beat him home in the Cup final, Hilarion Star, who we saw in Brisbane last year for the Inter-Dominion, was very disappointing there, but he's obviously gone back and his forms have improved dramatically. He was so disappointing last night. I think there's a major question mark on the quality of the form out of the West.
What price would Chokin be at this moment for the Inter-Dominion, which will be coming up in Sydney in the next few weeks?
If I was a bookmaker, I'd be taking out an insurance policy and hoping for an act of God because you'd have to think that even money would be a spoil.
Preferential draw or not? Will he have to start with the back row?
Sorry, the final's a random draw.
So he could draw the best barrier?
Yes, he could draw barrier 1 again, as he did Miracle Mile night. 2 of the heats are group preferential, according to stake money. 1 of the heats, that's the short heat, is random. And the final's random, so he can draw barrier 1.
I think the query with him will be off the rail on the small track, because in the Miracle Mile he had all the advantages. And I just wonder at Harold Park with a tight track whether this horse will have the explosive speed to go 4 and 5 wide and win.
Good question. Actually, Barry Purdon had that query before the Miracle Mile, and he said that he learnt a lot, even though the horse jumped to the front, led and won. He said, I learned a lot, and so did Tony Hurley, about the way the horse handled the track, because he didn't look all that at home, actually, when he won the Miracle Mile. And he's a very big, long-striding horse, and that's where he gets his speed from. I think that in the hands that he's in with Barry Purdon and Tony Hurley, that's probably the only query. And the other little, the minute query with Chokin is that he's never really backed up before. And the 3 tough runs in the first week, and it did fix him up in Brisbane. He got a virus in the second week, didn't compete in the final. They're the only queries, but if he stays right, nothing goes wrong, he'll win. He'll just have to win. There's nothing good enough to beat him.
What a horse he is. The only 2-year-old ever to be the New Zealand Horse of the Year, and at that stage they said he's the next Cardigan Bay. It was a big burden to carry. He was a 3-year-old, ran in the Miracle Mile. He looks like doing it. Next week, the A.G. Hunter Cup back in its full glory. Slightly different, standing start, handicapped, 2 miles, is it?
Yes, it's 3,280 metres, 80 metres further than the Melbourne Cup.
Is Chokin running?
I'd say he'll run. The connections are saying it will depend on the handicap, but it's 150,000. His forte is 2 mile staying races. I think he'll run. I think he'll win, no matter what mark they give him.
Well, what mark will he get? If you were the handicapper, how far behind the scratch mark would you put him?
Yeah, it's different to last year because last year the handicaps weren't compressed. Master Magician was off 45. This year it'll be different. We have much better horses off the front. I'd say about 30.
About 30 metres.
Yeah, and you'll have good horses off the front. Very good horses.
And he'll win again.
I think so.
Okay. That's the tip. Thanks, Neil. You'll be back next week to talk about the Hunter Cup.
Yeah, I'd love to have a look at it.
Yeah, and then we'll be doing the Inter-Dominion. Neil Donnelly from Radio 3UZ in Melbourne. A break, and coming up after this, a continuation of this